Why are you looking at me so cold? One's love is now we're enemies. You try to make yourself feel better by taking me down. Once I fell, but now.
All right, folks, we are here for an exciting third match of the second day of our stream coverage. My name is Blair Monroe. I'm joined in the booth by Greenie, John Greenfield, for this exciting Australian Division 1 Ultimate Championships at West Beach, Adelaide. We have on your screens at the moment Sunder Slice in the dark kit on offense, playing against Wellington's Wildcats.
Pushy to Gan, not quite in.
And that is going to do it, absolutely. Gan with the assist there to put that first point on the board for Sunder Slice. The clap back on the Anzac. It is an Australian versus a New Zealand side. But it's not pure Australia, is it, Greenie?
Well, that's right. We have Charles Preston, who was on the Kiwi team last year and who made an incredible grab off a hammer that will live long in the memory in their game.
Yeah, I mean, it was ULTI-World's catch of the year, I believe.
Is that right?
And what a phenomenal catch it was. Hopefully we're going to see that same level of dynamicism brought to integrate in with Sunder Slice. Now, this is going to be one of the last games for pool play for these teams. I believe, and I will double check, I know that both of the Sunder teams are currently sitting on 4-0 in their pool, so currently undefeated for both of these. Might be an opportunity here for the Wildcats to put on a little bit of an upset and send Sunder a Slice into maybe a worse off position in terms of moving forward for the next 2 days of the tournament.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think the worst position in Pool B is to be fourth, because then you get the lippy matchup. I actually think there's not too much in the other teams, but as you say, psychologically it could be important to get a win here.
It makes for a hard run to the finals.
Yeah.
So, Wildcats offense, it starts off, as always, with Nick Whitlock and Andrew Fitzpatrick. We're seeing a zone defense from Sunder Slice trying to pressure the space, but they can't stop Whitlock and Fitzpatrick from chipping away. Able to work around. Fitzpatrick again. Threading through. Finds Ollie Taylor with a quick offload. Finn McKenzie stretching the zone into the deep space. Coming back under. Nice and aggressive. Gains a lot of meterage from that one. Whitlock gets shifty. But Cheng's too aggressive on the defense. Goes to Fitzpatrick instead, close to the doorstep. Sawyer Blair takes the reset over Patterson. Finds Hoban near sideline. Has to go back midfield. And enough contact is going to generate a turn. Slice putting it up. Huge take there by Sean Reid for the first break of the game.
Oh, double happiness for Sean Reid. Irish descent, and been playing now with this Sunder outfit for quite a few years. He's exceptionally light and quick. He got in there and got the D, did enough to cause the turnover. As we see, look, he just did enough to put him off. It wasn't the greatest reset pass, but why not? When the man is feeling it, send it down to him.
And what a beautiful rundown too. That mental switch, going straight from, hey, defense, I've managed to generate a turn. What am I going to do? Immediately pushing into the deep space.
Yeah. Those Irish legs pushing him forward. He was at one stage playing with the Duff Stout boys from Darlinghurst, and then made the switch, went, you know what, I've got more in me. And he just put on so much muscle in those little legs of his. But, yeah, he's an exceptional player for the Sunder D-line. Wow. Well, first blood to Sunder.
Absolutely. And, I mean, first blood part 2.
Yeah.
So currently up by 2. Sunder Slice to come back down on defense. We're seeing a little bit of a change-up in that handler core for the Wildcats. It's Broughton with Whitlock and an overthrow. Sunder way too close for comfort. Big hammer. Comfortably fielded. Gan goes through to Feng, has the disc. Pushing near sideline. And a travel called on that one.
Well, Nick Whitlock getting a hand on that hammer, but I got the feeling he turned it into the perfect dump pass.
We're going to see that one go back. So that re-established pivot foot.
Yeah.
Marked by McKenzie.
And I can tell already that Sunder are really enjoying bringing up the level of intensity.
Nice quick offload. Manages to find John Boy. Quick offset again to Gan. Yang back to Gan. Getting a lot of movement out of Whitlock. Laser show straight through.
They just
Ju Ting Yang to Wang for the score.
And that was Taiwanese connection. And they were just hovering around that open space. Never got the swing across. But it didn't matter. They had so much great small ball movement there that they were able to punch that in quite comfortably.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to the Wildcats defense for really maintaining that pin on that near sideline. You know, against lesser teams, that's going to be incredibly effective. You're going to start having people get a little bit spooked, get a little bit scared, start making mistakes. But the measured offense from Sunder is enough to say, all right, if that's all you're going to give us, that's all we're going to take. That's all we need. And they're able to put that one away, which is honestly fantastic work by Slice to do that. Again, we talk a lot about how each play represents an opportunity to make a statement. And I think that's one of the best things is, yeah, Sunder saying, hey, Wellington, we don't worry that much about your defense. We're not scared of you.
I think we saw the first Wildcat offense. They were moving quite well. And the second one, a little hiccup right off the get-go. So they just need a nice, comfortable hold here.
Yeah.
But I think Sunder, I can see already, their energy is up. I don't think they're going to give much to the Wildcats at all.
No, and that's one of the tough things is when you're in a situation like that where you have to make those errors happen. You can't just wait for a team like Sunder to make them because they won't.
Mark Wee with a pull.
Fielded well by Fitzpatrick. Working with McKenzie. Hoban stretching the downfield space. Another zone again from Sunder, hoping to generate that turn. Beautiful break throw, finds Hogg on the far sideline. Well done to McKenzie for finding that gap. Like trying to thread a needle.
Ooh.
Ollie Taylor, despite a great bit on the far sideline. Hogg again, finishing for Hoban. That's what Wellington needed.
Well, that was a rain shower in a desert, wasn't it? It's exactly what Wildcats needed because I saw their intensity. I could tell they were up for this game. Okay, in their warm-up, you could see that they were, this is the big one, boys. They knew it. They've probably been thinking about this for a long time. But the essential throw there was that inside flick across the Hogg.
That forehand break from McKenzie to just open up the entire field. It's one of the brilliant things about a zone is that if you've got a thrower with the confidence to take those options. Yeah.
And the other thing with that zone of Sunder, they will want to keep you trapped on that sideline. The last thing they want is for you to get to the weak side of the field. But that's exactly where Wildcats needed to play from.
Yeah. I mean, I have to wonder if that's something that comes through quite well in terms of their training. If you've got a team whose habit is to try and force that sideline trap or that sideline pin, that means their offensive side are going to be spending a lot of time practicing against that kind of defense. So maybe that's why the Wellington defense on that previous point wasn't enough to stop them getting that hold.
And what little wind there is coming towards the camera now.
So from the top of your screen towards the bottom. Well fielded early. Lally pushes far sideline. Finds Wee. Continues to work. Nice little exchange there. Read again. Wee puts it in low. A huge bid by Chung's not going to be enough to stop that one. Big forehand near sideline. Van Bergen on defense over Bray. But Bray escapes it. Goes back to Wee by way of Lally. Huge take there by Gan. Nice find by Brewis to get him there.
And Ethan Craddock, who had the Gan matchup, realising how much toe that Gan has got and could not stop him getting across to the break side there for the jump-in goal. That looked
Beautiful
pretty
finish.
efficient there from Sunder. They
Yeah.
would be very happy with that offense. And then getting it off that line, Lely swinging it across, 2 passes, and there is just no way of stopping Gann in that position. Craddock just having to watch that one go in. There's a lot to like here. You can see this, the level, the intensity, the focus is all coming in this game. And
just the level of precision, I think, from the handlers as well. The way they're moving, the way they're anticipating the flow of the play. It's going really, really well for Sunder at the moment.
Yeah. All right. Well, the best thing Wildcats can do is just punch one in and get the D back on. Can they do that?
Sawyer Blair goes to Fitzpatrick, to Broughton. We can hear the call from the Sunder sideline counting each of the passes. Presumably they've had a zone set up just to arrest the initial momentum, and then they're going to be crashing to a match defense. Little hard to tell. Whitlock with the disc at the moment, supported by Hogg in the upfield space. Sawyer Blair getting active. A nice quick offload to Fitzpatrick at the halfway mark. Finds Broughton near sideline. Can't get away with it. Sawyer Blair doing a huge amount of dominator work. Lots of infield work in the mid-space. Goes around to Fitzpatrick. Shoots around to McKenzie again. That beautiful inside break before happens a second time. 2-hand take for Taylor. Is going to put Wellington Wildcats back within 2.
What a grab. That was an excellent catch. It was a gutsy inside throw because the precision required for that to hit someone in when they're going full pelt and in front of them. Often they're the sort of throws that go over the top or behind the receiver, but that was excellent. Well, Blair, this is exactly what Wildcat wanted. They're finding their groove on offense. Now they need to make their mark on the defense as we see this inside-out shot. In front, yes, a stretch and a fantastic catch, but that was very well done.
Really well set up as well. Just good work by McKenzie to close that one.
Look at that. Oh, that was just
hard to be mad at a throw like that.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, the level of proficiency and precision required for that is very high.
And so, as you said, though, Wellington need to put one on and then get the D-line back out there. We're going to see what that looks like for us now.
Well, Robinson very animated with a disc in his hand. He's shouting instructions. I think he understands this is a big point here.
Arguably the best puller in New Zealand. Putting it nice and high to the outside, fading back in, dropping towards centre field.
Lovely pull.
Fielded well and in plenty of time for the Wildcats to get a defensive pressure on early, but some 1-2 passes are going to get them out of Callaghan country.
Lely on the sideline here. Sees Connor coming into the centre. Looked off.
Working around. Finds Merowitz McMahon again. Chipping through the midfield. Finding Bray. Pushing near sideline. Kanagasabapathy with the desk. Offloads nice and quick. Goes back to Lely. Pushing far sideline now. To Wee. Gann with that little air bounce. Chipping through to James Bray for the score to put Sunder Slice back up by 3.
And that's the second goal and assist with Gann to Bray. And that's the second time we've seen that connection. That has defined the Sunder season. And it's an interesting, Blair, at regionals when it looked like Sunder Dice were on their knees with injuries. And I was chatting to James Bray, and he was talking about maybe taking himself out of Slice and into Dice, to help bolster the troops. But he hasn't, and I'm glad, because that connection from Gann to Bray is an excellent one. And they are Croc's teammates. So they're building this connection, and it's going to carry over into World Games. And I'm excited to see that at that tournament. James Bray, he's one of these guys who just times his cuts really well and knows his thrower. It would just I'll be collecting the cash. Thanks, James. We're collecting the cash after the game. But no, he is exceptional, knowing when to cut and for the right throwers. And Gan is his man.
All right, so Sunder Slice to come back out on defense again. Nice low pull. Not as much float. So without the chasing speed, it's going to give them an opportunity to get a couple of passes away. We see one pass set up before that same zone defense comes down. Sawyer Blair on the far sideline. Working back. Mackenzie, Fitzpatrick. Tyler Hogg getting involved in the upfield. Not really testing the depth as much. Whitlock stretching into the downfield, but all of the disc focus is in the upfield here around our Wellington Wildcats handlers. Hogg chipping around. Sawyer Blair goes and gets it. The shimmy from Finn McKenzie's isn't going to be enough. Yes, it is. Managing to break past Eric Deng on defense. Comes back around, finds Fitzpatrick, pushing near sideline. Whitlock with it. Ollie Taylor immediately pushing it. Blades over early. Hoban with the score.
I tell you what, Blair, that was a really fascinating point and so well done by Wildcats. I tell you what they're learning already is you don't go shimmying on the mark, when you're on the reset. Do not shimmy around and jinky jank. Just make a cut and go for it. Because the Sunder defenders are expert at the face mark defense and covering whatever jink or jank that you can do. And that was really important in that point.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. I would always make the argument that for the most part, players in that reset position should just make a really aggressive upline cut and then start to clear, or possibly even come through with it with a 7 cut, that angle change that brings them back towards the midfield, especially if the defense is communicating and responding. If they call a strike cut and they're going to pull that defensive mark around to shut down that upline cut, then all of a sudden, you do have an opportunity to come back towards the midfield. But by the same token, one of your other handlers, one of your other downfielders should be immediately moving in to fill that space as that second option.
Yeah. The other thing that the Wildcats are learning, that Sunder is going to play a lot of zone on them, and they are giving up a bit of height, and they know that Wildcats are very dangerous deep, and that's the reason for they're doing that.
Once again, so much float on that Robertson pull. Quick recentering, chipping through. Lally with the disc, pushing far sideline. Kanagasabapathy with the disc, pushing back centre field, finding Gunn. To Bray. Low shot through to the midfield. Craddock not able to stop or pressure that enough. Lally to Wee, midfield. Kanagasabapathy with the disc. Wee through to Gann. Really working the sideline. Bray again. To Lally. Wee shaking free, getting in that upfield. Bray can't shake free that time, but it's going to be Merowitz McMahon with the score there by way of Alex Gann.
Well, we call him Dr. Fungus because he's doing his PhD in mushrooms here in Australia. Hails from Massachusetts. He has been a fantastic pickup for Sunder. He has been such a key player for them. And just there, he finds himself free on the open side. Wildcats, I think, will be kicking themselves because they had done such a good job at shutting down the breaks, the reset back inboard. So let's have a look. Gann wants to reset inboard. Look at this, though. Cannot get it to Lely, but finds Dr. Fungus open on the break side.
Yeah, Kitty a little slow to react on that one. Left that throw open. Getting a big bite. I think that was the thing. That was the key thing there, actually. Set up by Bray on that infield cut. Chung over-committing on the defense to really open up that break side, which I think is the reason why Dr. Fungus had so much separation from Ketty on that possession.
Yep.
Jamboy, talk to right in here.
Jack Gray pulling this one. Let's see if you get as much purchase as Robinson's. Not bad, is it?
Oh, that's a nice pull. Not going to be mad at that. Whitlock to Fitzpatrick Cockram. No, decides to look him off. Goes all the way to the far side for Mackenzie. Sawyer Blair again working in the midfield, setting up some give and go, trying to keep the momentum going. Not, almost left stranded, has to go back to Mackenzie, far sideline. Fitzpatrick getting involved, nothing developing on the near sideline, has to go back far side. Some give goes, a great sniff by the Sunder defense, but it's not going to be enough. Hoban has it. Looking for Blair. Unmarked, unpressured, but as the defense closes, nothing's developed yet. Fitzpatrick to Mackenzie. Hogg available on the near side, looked off in favour of Sawyer Blair, far sideline. One of the Otakaro punter pickups before Wildcats brought their crew across for the Australian Division 1 Championships. Now Whitlock getting involved as well. Goes back, immediate give and go. Eats up some yards and snaps through. Mackenzie on the doorstep. All the way back, Fitzpatrick. Can't hit Hoban. Hammer over the top.
Oh.
For Whitlock, and the score bringing Wildcats back within 2.
Yeah, Whitlock's such an outlet. He's got every piece of the puzzle. Not only is he tall and a very good read, he's got a great read of the game. But I think the other thing is the quickness of his throws. I'm finding that a more important skill more and more these days. I've been playing now for 32 years, and I've seen your ability to quickly see an option and throw it is becoming a key weapon in your arsenal these days for the modern player.
And he's also just a nice guy.
Yeah, who would have thought? So yeah, well, he's got it all, right? And you need that as an ultimate player too, right? You've still got to be able to have self-responsibility.
Absolutely. But what a pretty hammer to finish that one
lovely.
off.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing about that too is that a lot of hammers, they'll turn over a little early and sit for a half second before dropping onto the player. That one had a late turnover, and so it kind of bladed down a bit, which is really, really good to see. That Fitzpatrick Cockram had recognised where the space was, saw a cut developing, and was able to put it out to give Whitlock something nice to run onto. Right. So, defence again. Robertson with the pull. A little bit slower to get things set up this time. Bray with Lely. A little bit of a travel.
Well, Wildcats giving them a bit of a taste of their own medicine to Sunder here with a little zone. Yeah. Lily having fun out there.
Leach, Van Turnhout, Van Bergen on the chase. Keddy to stop the continuation. Big fake from Wee. Gann looked off. Van Turnhout aggressive on the defense. Lely has Kanagasa Bapathy as a reset available. Decides instead to go crossfield with a high blade. Back to Gann. Good find. Wee on the near sideline. Back to Lally. Some give-go. Finds Gann. Chipping through. To Bray. Can he get away? Can he escape the Wildcats trap? Yes, he can. Finds a good shot to again. Dr. Fungus. But a huge layout on that one from Van Bergen's going to generate the turn.
First chance in the game for Wildcats for a break.
This is the first turnover that Sunder have given all game. Van Bergen on the far sideline. Continuing the movement. Leach looking back to centre field. Sunder defense slowing things down. Van Turnhout puts up the cannon looking for Keddy. Wildcats with their first break of the game to bring it back within 1. A necessary performance to keep themselves in this one.
And you heard the wait for Kenny just to make sure he caught it. Then the cry went up. Wildcats knew how important that was. And that was just some real grindy persistence on the defense that generated that turn, with Sunder realizing that it was a zone and they were pushing towards the near sideline and they wanted to get off that sideline. But how is the throw here, sitting it up perfectly, again, over the head of the defender, giving him no chance.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Connell and Bray essentially bracketing out Keddy on that one. So if that throw had been any less well-weighted, would have faded a little to the right, faded to the little left, Sunder would have eaten that up for breakfast.
Yep. Instead, it was perfectly weighted. O'Connell there with no chance. Rory O'Connell, so he has been there from the start for Colony, where they started right here in 2010. This Colony Sunder outfit that have been so successful through the history of Australian Ultimate, Australian Championships from the period of 2010 on. And here we are, the 15th anniversary for this club. And here we are fighting again against the Wildcats. Robinson with the pull again. Let's see how he goes into the breeze.
Nice and high, fading back in. Got a touchdown around the brick mark. Only a little further than halfway, but a lot of time for the defensive structure led by Cooper and Gardner to get in the way. Connell wide open on the near sideline. Offloads to Gann, goes back to Connell centre field. Pushing far sideline now for Lally one more time. Doesn't uncork the big one. Gardner going to shut that down, lets the line go anyway. Dr. Fungus. Back to Lally. To Gann again. Robertson on defense. Threads it through to Wee. Puts the double shot up. James Bray, and a wake-up call for the Wellington Wildcats. Sunder not going to give up their lead that easy. Nice, beautiful hold there. So the score is 7-5, and currently Sunder Slice have only committed one turnover, and it was due to some great pressure from Josh Van Bergen on that layout play. 2-point lead, Sunder Slice, a break here away from taking half in the early stages of the match.
It's been, I think, Sunder have been just waiting for this moment to get their teeth into a really intense game. They're a team that loves intensity, loves big moments. And James Bray, once again, just timing his cut to perfection. I mean, the timing here, it's a little bit uncanny. It's almost a sixth sense, but Mark Wee hits him in stride for a simple goal. Yeah, it was a much different look when you're defending with a little bit of breeze in the offense favour. It was much tougher there for Wildcats to get a hold on. They did pretty well up until about half, and then they were off to the races Sunday.
Yeah, there was a lot of great pressure to kind of arrest that initial downfield march. But once they'd broken past that halfway point, the wheels kind of came off the bus a little bit. Sunder Slice really started to hit their rhythm.
Exactly. Alrighty, well, Wildcats get their chance to show off how their offense looks in a slight downwind situation.
And they've demonstrated that they are capable of generating a break as well, which I think is very, very important. Fitzpatrick to Whitlock and back, those classic, the dynamic duo working far sideline. Trying to isolate a couple of players on the near sideline to give it a lot more isolation space for the Wildcats downfielders. Fitzpatrick's gone. The shot goes up. Never in any doubt. Wildcats back within one from Whitlock to Fitzpatrick.
And there's a little bit of difference too. You know, the Wildcats will go for those big plays when they've got players like Nick Whitlock and Hogg. And they had a couple of early looks for deep, but they were not connected with their throwers. That time, Whitlock got the radar and hit his man.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see again at which point, like Fitzpatrick's already started to pull out of the handler space. Plenty of steps on Yang there. Plenty of time to adjust as well to the falling of that disc, which I think was just really well read.
And Yang is no slouch. Incredibly quick player. But on a 50 metre sprint, not as effective as around the disc,
Right.
where he really makes his damage marking handlers, which, of course, Fitzpatrick, Cockram is, but he escaped that position to go downfield. Very nice. They may want to revisit that look again, I think.
I don't think that's the last time we're going to see that connection develop in the course of this game. But first off, Wellington Wildcats to come down on defense. Another monster Robertson pull. Is it going to fade back in? No, the first time I think we've seen him pull out of bounds in a long time.
And is that the first out pull of the match? So, that's pretty good going, but it's not helping the Wildcats defense here.
So Gann going to pick up to initiate from the brick mark. McKenzie, Taylor, and Van Turnhout starting off the zone defense. Bit of an inverted arrowhead. Allowing the disc to come towards the near sideline. A little bit of contact, a little bit of pushing off. Lally working with Bray, goes back midfield around the zone and a quick release. Puts them in a good spot. Lally and Wee in the downfield now. Back to Dr. Fungus, to Wee. Wee with a big fake. Merowitz McMahon has it, but looks like there's a stall called.
Nah, that would be a push-off foul, I think, called there, and I understand that. Yeah. And yes, it's uncontested. There was just a little push-off there. As we see this on the replay. Yeah, he just pushed him off the line, and that is fair enough. But there was also a call there. What's there in the...
Yeah, no, so
it
was a stall
out.
Count. Yeah.
Right, okay.
So that's not sure if that's accepted or not. Looks like the disc is going to come in on 9. Immediate release back to Merowitz McMahon. Bray getting involved now. One-handed take, but a pick's been called in the downfield a couple of passes ago.
It's not unusual, is it, to see this sort of play, and it's something that it'd be nice if we can clean this sort of thing up. But where you have a stoppage like that, we get a couple of passes in amongst the handlers, and there's something happen in the stack. My least favourite one is where the defender tapping it in is not loud enough with their in-call.
So Kitty on defense over Merowitz McMahon. Goes around to Bray. Has to reset. Finds Gann. Connell.
And Mark Wee. Are they accepting the goal? There's a little bit of talk.
Possibly another pick call, I think. Or I guess they're asking whether or not he had control of the disc or if he'd actually let go of it before. Although Riley Van Turnhout looks like he's calling that one in.
I think they're questioning Mark whether he was actually in the end zone when he caught it.
I think the argument is that because he jumped and caught it, whether or not he let it go before actually touching the ground.
Yeah, okay.
At which point he wouldn't have had possession of the disc. So we'll see again.
Let's have a look. And a funny little moment too. We'll maybe see Nick Lely.
It's an interesting choice.
Yeah, that's a bowl for it. Well, he's well in.
It looks like that was well controlled enough. He was touching it on the way down.
Now, I don't know if we're going to see it again, but while all this was going on, Nick Lely is turning into the joker of this game. Grabs the disc and bowls it in between the legs of one of the Kiwi players. All good Anzac fun.
Well done by Sunder Slice on that one. A little bit choppy towards the end, but a great performance by both of these teams. Currently a 2-point game. Sunder Slice up at the moment. Wellington Wildcats on 6. We will be back very, very soon. Okay, we'll be back very, very soon for the second half of this exciting match for the Division 1 Australian Ultimate Championships in 2025 in West Beach, Adelaide. Thank you so much.
Feeling your body, we're moving in the dark. With every breath we take, you're falling. With every breath that we're taking, with every step you're falling in love. With every move that I'm making, with every breath that we're taking, with every step you're falling in love. With every move that I'm making, I'm the best thing that has ever happened to you. Here's your time to shine, oh show me what you can do. Make a move, the way my hands feel on your body. We were dancing in the dark. With every move I make, you're falling. The way my lips feel on your body. We were moving in the dark. With every breath we take, you're falling.
All right, folks, we are back for the second half of this exciting game between the Wellington Wildcats and Sunder Slice. Wildcats starting this half on offense after a closely contested first half. That saw a somewhat controversial point for Sunder Slice to take them away to a 2-point lead. Hoban has the disc now, far sideline to Hogg. Defense is swirling. Fitzpatrick puts the shot up, looking for Hoban. Wees underneath it.
Oh, James Bray comes down with a good...
Bray, a defensive monster on that possession. Patterson pushes far sideline. Wee again by way of Moore. Gann puts it up. Gavin Moore with the take after an early break in the second half.
Well, Gavin took the goal away from James Bray, denying him the double happiness. And I'm surprised he didn't waggle it in James's face there, but well done, Sunder. They went for that shot up. That was your Fitzpatrick Cochran. Yeah, it was a gutsy throw because it was into the breeze and there were defenders in sight. There wasn't a lot of separation there, Blair, so I was actually surprised they took that option. But James Bray just going up tall, that was exceptional.
We're going to get to see again. Big shot up, looking for Bray, but Moore is in the way to pull that one down.
Actually, Gavin Moore he also was in the original 2010 Colony team that got to the semi-final and lost 16-15 to IB. But he had not lost a step. He's got a great long stride and is very quick, an exceptional deep receiver and one of the best defenders that Australia has produced. And still doing it here for Sunder, 15 years after the inception of Colony, still with this club. And Jack Gray again with the pulling duties. Let's see how he goes with into a slight breeze.
Puts it up high, touching down near sideline, just inbounds. Broughton there to pick it up and start things early. Blair immediately pushing into the upline space. Cheng on the mark, shutting things down, finds a break for Taylor. Blair hitting those characteristic give and goes. We're going to see a call there. A travel called on Sawyer Blair.
Yeah, I think Sean Reid there saying that he sort of turned the corner a little bit and maybe a few too many steps. We'll see this again. That is the long put, and it is worth looking at that. That is an exceptional shot. But
It was
it's all
a beautiful throw.
Now, this is a little test here for Wildcats. When you get this call and there's a stop in play, the defense gets a little bit of a look at the heads up.
Hoban again, near sideline. Oh, good work on the defense, but it opens up that forehand huck. Oh, Patterson over Whitlock.
He crosses it out. Not in my house. Patterson. Wow, getting one over the compatriot there in an Anzac Day special. Sunder now with a chance for a break.
Huge bid from Sawyer Blair, not going to be enough. We've got Brewis near sideline now. Fitzpatrick closing the trap. Sean Reid going back far sideline again to McDonald. Back to Patterson in the handler space in the upfield. Some great blade work. Ollie Taylor goes up and catches it on the way back down. Great defensive pressure there by Ollie Taylor.
Wildcats needed that. Great defense. They had to really dig in there. Look at the spread of the field here.
A blade from Whitlock to a wide open Fitzpatrick for the score.
And that was a gutsy play from Nick Whitlock, who will never die wondering on any sort of throwing option. And I must say, Hoban there was it was a tale of two long flicks there, Blair, because his first one, which was a travel, was much more arcing, much more direct to the receiver. The second one he left floating in the air, and I think it's because he just caught that the receiver was Nick Whitlock, as they discuss it there on the sideline. And so he gave it a little bit more lift, thinking, well, it's Nick. He's up against Charles Patterson. Well, I'm just going to put it up. But Patterson there getting fantastic position.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a really good read on what the disc was doing. A little bit of a jockey for position, manages to come down with it.
Here it is here. Yeah, just great positioning. And you could argue that Nick just sort of wasn't in great position, clearly.
I think also Nick Whitlock maybe had to go a little bit early, just respecting Patterson's ability to get underneath the disc like that.
So important, though, for Wildcats to get that disc back. That was an ambitious blade.
A great shutdown by Taylor on that one.
Yes, the defense from Wildcats exceptional.
Robertson keeping it in bounds.
Bray resisting the temptation to put that to a open O'Connell.
Sunder offense grinding. Can't quite chip away through the oppressive Wildcats zone now. Working towards the far sideline. Leach on defense over Bray. Bray gets it away. Goes through too. Merowitz McMahon putting it up. Oh! Double coverage. Gann takes that one down.
Taps his head. He's pretty happy with that one. Of course, Gann so fast. But usually behind the disc, that time playing the role of receiver. And that, looking at his 2 goals now and 4 assists, what an impact he's having on this game.
Involved in more than half of the points that Sunder Slice have put on the board. An absolute workhorse.
Getting up between 2 Wildcat defenders there. Fans himself so hot right now.
See again, Dr. Fungus with the put.
Yeah, and look, Dr. Fungus put it on an absolute platter.
Oh, and under double coverage, there was not much room for error.
No, we saw that previously on a couple of these throws. The precision is excellent.
Beautiful work by Sunder Slice to break the double-digit barrier. Coming out on defense now.
Yeah, 10-7, 47 minutes on the clock. Again, we're seeing perfect conditions here, Blair, for this tournament. I made the call in my preview that this was going to be the windiest Nationals for a long time. And, of course, in doing that, I've brought beautiful weather.
Commentator's curse, Greenie. It's the way it happens, man.
Yeah, it certainly is.
And if there weren't so much to talk about, I might think about shutting my mouth for once. But not today, folks. Not as the Wellington Wildcats come out on offense. We've got Broughton with an early recentering pass to McKenzie, who's demonstrated a huge arsenal of beautiful inside throws. Goes back to the near sideline. Whitlock putting up the big shot for Fitzpatrick again. Oh. Well read, well reeled in.
We were just talking about throwing dimes, and we've just seen another one there. That is the patch of grass down there that everyone is scoring at the moment. It is a hot piece of earth right now. And that was just a lovely throw. That time we'd just been talking up Gav Moore as a defender, but there is nothing he could do to stop that as we look at this evolve. So in fact, Gav Moore there had peeled off. That wasn't his man, but he realised after about 10 steps that he was never going to get that. But he was doing the right thing. He was at the back of the stack there, looking for this specifically, but he just couldn't get there. The throw was just too good.
Now, something that I think is really, really interesting to observe on this is that the last few Wildcats points that they've scored, in fact, since they got that break in the towards the later stages of the first half, 5 passes offense, 7 pass offense, 2 and 1 3-pass offense. So they're really, really dialing in the efficiency. They're looking for those big hitters, those players who have those really long throws, a great amount of range, and leveraging them with the foot speed on the Wildcats side to open up the scoreline.
Yeah.
The flip side, we're seeing a lot more passes typically from this Sunder slice, possibly in response to what the Wildcats defense is offering them. Well fielded, early recentering pass. Lally with the fake. Chip shot around to Bray. Ollie Taylor on the mark, lets it go back. They lose yards. Gan to Wee. Pushing far sideline now. Merowitz McMahon goes back around centre field. Lally has it, marked by Robertson. Goes to Wee near sideline. Chips back through to the middle. Gan in the danger zone. Decides to reset. Pushing far sideline. Bray's got it by way of Dr. Fungus.
Oh!
Interception. Kubra with the block there. Immediate offload to Robertson, who fakes the big backhand, decides not, puts the big shot up, and it blades early. It's going to be eaten by Bray.
The speed now of the Sunder offense with in broken play, Blair.
Run it back in double time.
Oh,
great find by Gan.
You know, so that block by Wildcats came out of nowhere, didn't it? And I actually thought Robinson then did really well to holster his throw. He immediately wanted to strike long, but Bray was the defender there, and I think he did really well to holster it. Unfortunately, he then decided to have another go and threw it straight to James Bray. But look at the, we're seeing here the replay from that turnover. Look how fast they move the disc, giving the Wildcats no chance to find any sort of meaningful defense. And Gan to O'Connell.
That's one of the things that I find really, really interesting about that as well, is that when you have that pace that Sunder Slice displayed on that last possession, it's really easy for the defense to overcommit. I think Cooper trying to stop that run there, got in front, came too far to the near sideline, and that opened up that channel for that last little 2-3 meter forehand to finish off that point. Sunder Slice up by 3.
It's been a game for the purists, haven't it, Blair? It's been a really enjoyable game. But I'd love to see Wildcats go on a bit of a run here. And this is the first piece of the puzzle. Score this goal.
Broughton to Whitlock. A vertical stack developing in the downfield. Cuts kind of slow to happen. Whitlock drops the bomb, looking for Hoban, relying on his foot speed.
Oh.
Easily taken down despite a great bid from Jack Gray.
Jack.
2 passes to put that one away. A nice reset from Broughton to Whitlock, and then Whitlock through to Hoban for the score to bring them back within 2.
And a nice little byplay there between Whitlock and Patterson. I wonder if that was the plan all along. Do you think that might have been a set play? Certainly Whitlock waiting and just timing his throw. But Jack Gray, very quick, made a very brave bid on that one. As you see Whitlock just holding the disc, waiting for it, it appears. Hoban still had a lot of work to do. He needed to get over to set himself up for the read. Jack Gray with a flailing arm came very close there. And once again, Gavin Moore probably peeling off somewhere, anticipating a throw from Whitlock, but unable to make the ground up. Yeah, I think the passes here, Blair, from this side, they're coming in so hot that even if you peel off from the back, you just can't make up the distance.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of success, even under double coverage in that left-hand side end zone. So enough heat and zip behind the disc as a pull from Bowen. Nice amount of float, but it's going to fall a little short, so there's not a huge amount of ground to be made up. Gan to receive. Little bladey work to find Wee on the far sideline, hoping to finish with a big 1-2. Easy as you like for James Bray in the end zone to take slice within 3 of the win.
And we see James Bray with a bit of acrobatics in the end zone for the goal. Once again, Bray timing, deep cut, and seemingly with acres of space in the end zone. And with Wildcats without an answer to that play. How does he set it up? Well, the defender, it has to be said, is giving him, in that particular instance, is playing him under.
Yeah.
You've got their best receiver who scored most of the goals, and you're stopping him under. I think that's a mistake. We gladly accepting the situation and putting it on a dime for James Bray to gather yet another stat.
Yeah, we'll need to see an adjustment from the Wildcats. If they want to be able to stop that, I think you're absolutely right. 4 of the goals so far for Sunder Slice have come from the speedy legs of James Bray. He's not a player who's doing as much work in terms of the handling, in terms of the disc distribution. He's doing his best work stretching the field. So for a player like Van Bergen with some pretty impressive foot speed of his own, needs to be parking downfield, force him under. He might be a talented thrower, but it's not his wheelhouse. It's not his first port of call. So make them use the weaknesses.
Yep. Wildcats getting excited on the sideline. They can see the urgency of the situation now.
We can see now as well the defensive structure of Slice playing things a little different, trying to put Whitlock almost under double coverage on the mark to try and stop those big shots. Goes around to Sawyer Blair. An open Fitzpatrick Cockram. Working back. Hogs unmarked. Takes a knee, takes the disc. Laser show straight through to Taylor. Whitlock stretching the undercuts on the near sideline. Now pushing deep. Big shot goes up.
Oh!
Taken down.
What a grab. What a contest between two great players. Gavin Moore reading the play, trying to get himself in position. But the arcing throw was always going to the advantage of Whitlock, so he had too much work to do. But Whitlock got up to his highest point there to take that catch. That was a boss fight, and that was a fantastic grab. As we see, we can see
Fitzpatrick
Moore
putting it up, peeling over. Great defensive positioning by Moore, but just not enough.
Oh, and you're thinking for more because that was pretty much at the back centimetre of the end zone.
Absolutely. I mean, on any other day, that would have fallen out the back end of the zone.
I think Gavin Moore just can't believe it. He just couldn't believe. You're kidding me, mate. I had every inch covered except that last 10 centimetres of the end zone. Wow. All right, 12-10. Now, this is when the Wildcats need to be up and about and cheering their guys on because 12-10, imagine getting a goal here. Imagine getting a break.
Another Robertson monster pull. He's dialing things in a little bit, playing things a little safer. We're seeing them get fielded really well by the Sunder side. To Bray, pushing far sideline. O'Connell. Laser show straight through to Merowitz McMahon for the score to take them 2 away from a win.
And Dr. Fun is fanning himself there, finding himself in a paddock, an acre of space, and seemingly somehow lost his defender. A big smile on the man from Massachusetts. He's had a good game. Gives the thumbs up. As we see this play develop, how did he find himself so open? Yeah, the defender there just peeled off at the wrong moment. Didn't know the danger lurking behind on the break side.
Just really well set up.
Yeah. O'Connell, absolutely no delay on that throw. Saw the open option and shot it. All right. 13-10. This game creeping closer to its conclusion. And we've been trading now, Blair, for some time now.
In fact, since the second half started with a break, It's just been teams trading. There have only been a couple of turnovers as well, but most of this work on the field at the moment has been clean offensive holds. Taylor to Fitzpatrick. Whitlock holsters the hammer. Scuba up over the top. Fitzpatrick, but the run through by McDonald is going to generate a turn. And at a critical moment as well, Patterson picks up. Goes to Reed, and a huge touch by Sawyer Blair is going to get it back. Whitlock again at the halfway mark. Hogg with the disc now, near sideline. Whitlock streaking into the deep space. Fitzpatrick Cockram, unmarked, chips through to Sawyer Blair with a quick 1-2 give go. Make it 3. Ollie Taylor getting loose in a phone booth.
Wow, exciting point. We're just talking about no breaks. Gus McDonald comes up with a great heads-up D on what I would call a bit of a greedy scuba from Whitlock. He just wanted a bit more play upfield than he should have. There it is there. Yeah, if he'd thrown it purely laterally, it wouldn't have been a problem. But now this layout D, what a peach.
Really nice work. And again, calling for the disc back. The 1, 2, and 3. Taylor. Oh, goodness gracious.
The other
Call
thing,
that man Colin Farrell, because I have not seen someone work that well in a phone booth since 2005.
and I would say, Blair, that just like Sunder did to them, Wildcats finding a real speed to their defence in broken play, making use of the chaos after a turnover like that. Players out of position. Really great stuff. But we're back in the position now. They need the break.
Absolutely. I mean, they're down by 2, and there's not a lot of room left for them to make mistakes. Sunder are 2 points away from a win in this crucial game in pool play. Gann has it. To Bray with a nice floaty out the front. Huge play by Finn McKenzie, and it's not going to be enough.
Oh, I'd like to know how close that was, McKenzie. But props to Rory O'Connell, who just stood there with the man bearing down on him and just caught the goal and just flips it up. Yeah, no problems, mate. But that was a good bid for McKenzie. Again, you wonder how much space he was given there. Gann. What a dime. Again, Blair, we're seeing where the defenders are just not being given a chance to make bids on these throws going into the end zone down this end. That's the downwind end. There's probably about, I would say, 10 to 15 kilometre hour breeze. It's really light. But it is going from right to left as we see our screen. All right, Whitlock. There's another zone being put on by Sunder.
Goes to Broughton now. Sawyer Blair joining the handler space. That same Sunder zone defense decides to let it rip, looking for Taylor. Taylor in good position. Moore with a hand on his back. And an immediate call on that one, to the surprise of very few.
Yeah.
The disappointment on Taylor's face, the incredulity.
On both players' faces, I think. So there was a lot of body work by Moore. As you can see, there's a sort of a big hand in the back.
Yeah, I mean, it did look like Moore was trying to play him like a puppet. So
yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he had the hand up the shirt and was working him like a
And I think that Moore getting that second tip is probably the basis for his argument. It's like, hey, once that contact had been made, I was able to make a second play and you weren't going to be able to get it. Whereas I suspect that Taylor's argument is, well, if the contact hadn't happened in the first place, I probably would have had a second attempt. So
Yeah,
it's an interesting one.
it is. And I can sense Gavin Moore's frustration because he's been so close to many of these deep defences.
And this is the thing. It's Sunder Slice are 1 point away from a win. They know what Wildcats are capable of. They can't really afford to let them have this 1 point, even as a one-off. They want to put a statement on this game. They want to put a stamp on it. They're currently 4-0 in their pool play, along their brother team, Sunder Dice, who are also 4-0. So really, really impressive pool performance from both of these teams. Sunder Slice don't want to give up a perfect record just yet.
Yeah. Well, I think with Dice, we saw, of course, go down to Chile, so they're a little bit behind. But Wildcats here are certainly 4-0. So, yeah, look, Gavin, I think you might have to give this one up, son. There's a lot of handwork there into the back of the receiver. I must say, though, Whitlock was just throwing to no separation whatsoever. And I think Moore sensed that and went, well, you know what? I should have a bid here at this, but he just can't go through the play to get there.
It did very much. Oh, looks like the turnover's going to possibly stand.
Okay.
It's an interesting resolution there. But I think, yes, you're absolutely right. Whitlock was just trying to try and release some of the pressure and just get the disc down.
All right.
Interesting take. A lot of pressure from the Wildcats defense. They don't want to give this up. Black has the disc, pushing wide to Patterson. Fitzpatrick pressuring the defense. Can't let the upline go. Reed to Gray. Continuing the movement, putting the blade up early. It turns over. It's going to give the Wildcats a chance here.
Well, Patterson was pushing there. He wanted to finish the point. Gus McDonald was not on the same page. Didn't realise that disc had gone up for him. So a reprieve from Wildcats, but they are having to go the full 64 metres here, Blair.
Whitlock immediately stretching deep. Fitzpatrick gets it, not in power position. Has to reset instead. Finds Hobart. Putting the shot up, looking for Taylor. It's fading. Not gonna be it. There's the turnover and a chance for Slice to put it away. McDonald.
Oh.
Xavier Black has the disc now. The defense closing the trap. Manages to find Gavin Moore near sideline. Nice quick give-go to keep everything moving. Working the sideline, finds Patterson. Good toe in there by Black. Big fake, gets a bite out of Whitlock, goes cross field. Taylor doesn't commit, lets it happen. Reed has it now. With a finish for Patterson, emphatic, devastating for the one New Zealand player on Sunder Slice to put the nail in the coffin for New Zealand's only representative here in the Australian Ultimate Championships Division 1 2025.
Incredible.
What a man. What a match. Now, this is going to shake things up a little bit in Pool B, our pool of death, Greenie, but I imagine we will see these teams again as we move into bracket play for the next 2 days of the tournament. But before we get that far, we've got another game coming up for you relatively soon. Phenomenal performance by Sunder Slice, a great shootout by the Wildcats, but it's not going to be enough. Fantastic performance by both of these teams, a smorgasbord. This is what Ultimate is supposed to be about. Until the next one, my name's Blair Munro.
And I'm John Greenfield.
Thank you so much for watching.
ULTI.TV.